All right, good afternoon. Let's make a quick little video for you guys. Quick little video. Might take an entry here. Let's just kind of see what happens. Get everything turned on there so you guys can see a little better. This really ain't even any better. All right. So you see we kind of been selling off here. Just looking for my little kind of an ABC setup here to form. See if we can take this thing. We took a little ABC setup here for $95. Obviously we left some on the table, but we were trading into the whole number, so I didn't want to push it too much. So what are we looking for here? We've kind of sold off. You can see this was a nice little ABC setup here. ABC. I didn't take it because we were at the whole number, but obviously it would have paid. So what are we looking for here? I'm looking for a little bit of a pushback up. Not really on super high volume. I'd like to see some sort of relief come in here. And then maybe the sellers come back in and continue to push it down. So we want to kind of maybe see the 88 area. We do have a pivot down here at 65 to keep in mind. So we don't want to be getting short like right in here. We want this push back up first. So let's see if we can get it. ES is kind of at its support level there, 82. Literally just touched 82. We could bounce here. If the ES loses 82, then I think we sell pretty hard. And the ES is kind of losing 82 here. We got the sell volume coming in. We are at the pivot. Not super in love with that. Selling through here. Kind of hesitant on that entry there just because of the pivot. So let's see if we push back up. So really this was our setup, right? You have a nice big A leg down, little B leg back up. Not really on high volume. I don't love that. I'd rather see a little miniature ABC form here. Let's kind of turn this pivot into some resistance and then move on down a little more. So let's see if we can't get that. ES sold off into the 80 level there, so seems like we probably will sell down. So let's see if we get an opportunity for one more entry this afternoon. Need to work on the color here, but I don't want to miss the trade trying to make an adjustment. That's a little better. All right. So kind of a lot more volume than I really want to see, right? Not in love with the amount of volume here. ES back above that 82 level there. Let's just kind of watch and see what happens. The volume, not really a huge issue if the ES starts to sell back down. But if we continue to push, this could be the area we push up. But let's just see. It's kind of pushing back up above the pivot there. Like I said, not in love with the amount of volume here. It's not horrible, but it is a little more than I'd like to see. But considering there's a pivot there, it's not really that crazy for there to be that much volume. Probably going to get a push back up here would be kind of my opinion. Sold off quite a bit. ES is right there. Sold down to the 78s. If you guys were in the live stream earlier, we were waiting for this break down through the 50s all morning, and I got chopped up on one of my accounts waiting on that over in here. So right in here, we just kind of had a bunch of stuff going on. traded back up into the VWAP and then sold off there. Another, what is that? 960 to 760, 200 points. So again, a nice push here. ES back into the 83s. Just kind of looking for one more entry. Just want to push this thing up to maybe 250 at least, somewhere in there. Another $100 I'd be happy with. $200 I'd be extremely happy with. So let's see if we get a little pullback here, and then so this will be your A leg. This is kind of what we're looking for. Kind of, you know, I don't love the longs as much as I like the shorts, kind of when we're trending down like that, but you know, something along those lines would be what we're looking for. So let's see if we can get it. Ideally, we want to pull back on lower volume. So we want to have this nice high volume push up, which we're getting. So that's your A leg. You got a lot of strong volume all above the dead man. That's your A leg. B leg, you want to have it about halfway. Maybe some red volume come in maybe halfway. And then we just simply wait for the buy volume to come back in above the dead man. We take our entry there. Now there's always the potential that this thing does not come back this soon. Might just continue to push. But ideally, we want to pull back so we can enter. Just trying to play our setup here. ES back up to the 85. So you can see the A leg went a little higher than we expected. That's okay. So we want a low volume pullback, and then we want to see this buys come on back in. Man, no pullback. That's not a pullback. That is not a pullback. I mean, I could have just hit the button there, but like to me, that's a little bit too risky, right? We're waiting on the pullback. That's our setup. We want the pullback and then go. And I mean, you could say, well, that was a pullback, but no, I don't count that as a pullback. We want to see some sellers come in here and kind of pull it back. There we go. Don't want to FOMO into it. Let's let the setup form, and then we'll take it. Kind of watching the ES along with it to get a little confluence here. Obviously, if we start getting huge sellers come in here, then that A leg will just fail. And this, you know, it's kind of what's been happening a lot. But this volume's okay. I don't mind it. So now we're waiting for some buyers to kind of kick in here. Kind of got to the area we were thinking of. Close enough, anyway. All right, we'll want to see 2 green candles print above the dead man, and then we'll take our entry long. So just waiting. And again, this ABC could fail because, you know, we are in pretty much a dead sell-off. I mean, you can see this trend, just huge sell-off. So it could fail, but this is the setup it's presenting, so we're going to take it if it gives it to us. Lower volume here, I like that. Lower volume, kind of chopping sideways a little bit right now. Holding up at the pivot. Just kind of waiting for the buy volume to come in. It's nothing to do until then. ES back to 83. If you get a bunch of sellers come in here, then this could just kill this idea, guys. So I'm not in love with that, especially if we get one or two more kind of pop up here, then I won't be in love with it. I want to keep that volume low on this pullback. It's kind of at the top of the range where, you know, I still feel like it's okay. ES losing that 83 again. Not in love with that. This thing's probably just going to sell back down, as it does. This definitely is deeper and more volume than I like. So this setup's probably scratched. Not going to take it. And sometimes that happens, and that's the reason why you're paying attention to the WADA here, because it keeps you out of these setups that potentially fail, right? So, again, we're attempting this kind of live with you guys, so it's not always going to present the scenario that we want. All right, maybe this thing stays alive here. Let's see. I'm not in love with that sell volume there. Not in love with it, but if we can hold this pivot and start pushing, then maybe we jump in long. Holding the pivot here, got a nice spike above the WADA there. Comes a second one. All right, I'm going to go ahead and take the long here. Again, we're going to keep a pretty tight watch on this here. Going to break even already. See if we can't get a quick push. There we go. Ah, perfect, perfect. That's what we want to see. That's the kind of trades I like to take. And there it is, guys. Just that easy of a read. This was a little bit of a, what I would call a pucker. A little bit of a pucker, because that pullback right there is a lot deeper than I wanted to see. Well, not necessarily the pullback wasn't that much deeper, but that volume. I didn't love the volume on the B leg in comparison to the A leg. But this volume, if you notice, I waited until that third candle printed above to kind of get confirmation. And then we got that nice push up. So that's just another example there showing you guys of kind of how the setup works there. So appreciate you guys watching the video. Hit like, subscribe if you're not yet subscribed. Feel free to leave a comment down below, and we'll see you next time.